Hello, welcome back to Beauty Bee. Today we are going to do a duping the vibes on the new Raw Beauty Kristi by Colourpop palette. It's called At Forest Sight. Now I'll admit that at first this didn't really appeal to me. I'm not a big rainbow palette person, and effectively this is a grungy rainbow with a pop of metallic yellow gold and a metallic sort of taupey olive almost. It's a very pretty color. But the more I look at it, the more I'm intrigued. I don't think that this would necessarily be a palette that I personally would reach for a lot for complete looks. However, it is something that I could see myself reaching into to pull out a really dark toned matte. And then I thought to myself, I feel like I have this. Because that's what I feel like with most palettes now. So I thought that I would try to dupe it within my own collection. Now I will also put in, probably right around now, a couple of other palettes that I feel have very similar color stories. So if you were interested in this palette, maybe you could look through to see if not only you have all these shades or a very good chunk of them, but if you maybe even already have them all wrapped up in one package. Now I think that probably the most obvious color for this palette is Let It Rain, which is a black with some copper sparkle to it. I mean, I feel like we all have a sparkly black hanging around somewhere. This one's from Wet n Wild. And there it is. There's shade 1. I'll build up a better swatch of that. Personally, I would rather have a black that can be built up to pretty decent black rather than have something that is crazy pigment right away, because I can't control that. I am not a makeup artist by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, so now let's look for a dupe for Pacific Northwest. This is a pretty primary blue, but it looks like it leans just a little bit deeper. And I think I have a really good match for that one as well. In this NYX Ultimate Edit in Ash, this blue shade. I don't think these shades have names. Now I'll say that the texture on this color is not great, but the pigment is there. Let's give it a swatch. And I could build that one up as well. Okay, this is gonna be weird, but can you hear that? Isn't that an odd texture for a eyeshadow? It sounds like I'm rubbing sandpaper, but like really fine grained sandpaper. So there's that blue with the black. I will say that Colourpop black looks like it is better quality than mine, but that's okay. I can make this one work. I have done so in the past and will probably continue to do so. Now for Emerald City. Let's see. I actually think that I have two possibilities for this. The first one is this deep green from the e.l.f. Bite Size palette in Hot Jalapeno. That finger's more or less clean. I don't think that's an awful take on it, but I don't think that's quite what I'm looking for. Let's see. My other possibility is in this Wet n Wild 32 pan palette. This teal right here. I suspect this is going to be a better option. Definitely. That's our Emerald City. I'm gonna take this one off. Okay, so we've got 3 shades down. Next is Fiddlehead. Fiddlehead, I actually think I have a pretty good match for in this olive green from the same e.l.f. Bite Size palette. Looks like that one might be a little bit more yellow, but we're just duping the vibes here, not shade for shade. Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. I do think that the Colourpop one is a little bit more yellow, but this is very workable. And the reason it's coming off just a little bit sheer is because I swatched it over where I had the makeup remover. So there's the problem there. It's actually a really nicely performing shade. Okay, so 4 down, 8 to go. I know there is one that I do not have a dupe for, but the rest of them I think I do. Okay, so now we're on to Amanita. I think that's what it would be called. Let's see, that's sort of a berry purple, and it's a little bit on the reddish side. It's kind of pretty color. Okay, so I don't know why I'm looking in that palette. It's not the one where I thought I would find it. My suspicion is that this by itself will not give me what I want, but that I can probably mix this with a burgundy or a brown to get really close to Amanita. Honestly, I think that's a pretty good match. Yeah. Kind of bothers me that I went out of order and put Fiddlehead here instead of here, but oh well. Duping the vibes, not the order. Now for Homegrown. How do they describe Homegrown? A matte chocolate brown. That's doable. I can find that. What do you think about maybe this one or this one? I feel like this one's a little bit closer. I don't know if it's just the fact that it has the that Amanita berry shade and Rainier next to it in the palette, but I feel like this color, Homegrown, has quite a bit of red to it. Layer that up a little bit. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad take on it. Maybe I could use just a tiny bit more depth. So I think I am going to put a little bit of that more true brown shade. Yeah. That's where we are. Now the West Coast shade, which is a yellow gold metallic. And I know that I have a good take on this one. From the same palette, actually, this yellow shade. It's not gonna show up great on camera, but the swatch, this shade swatches really well. Look at that. We definitely have a grungy rainbow going on. I like this. This is pretty. Okay. So now we get into, I think, what is going to be for me the hardest shade to dupe that I actually can dupe. It's Evergreen. Now I see that it has some olive green to it. So I'm going to start with just a little bit of this shade, which is not anywhere close by itself. This is again from that e.l.f. Hot Jalapeno palette. I'm just going to put down a little bit of that. So that's where we are right now. And then I'm going to layer some taupe over it because I feel like that's kind of what this color gives me. Or is it more of a gold? I don't know. I feel like it differs picture to picture. Because it's definitely cool toned. I think I'm going to go over it with this one. Sorry if you can see the ring light in the reflection. Yeah, I think that's actually really pretty close. I feel like the green isn't really coming through, at least in the viewfinder, but I can see it, and I do think that comes off very similar to Evergreen. Maybe I would add a little bit more of the green. Let's see. There we are. Love that. Old Growth looks to be sort of a, I don't know how I would describe that, sort of a pinky mauve color. And I know I have that a few times over. Let's see if I can't find which palette it's actually in. I think for this I'm going to go into another one of those e.l.f. bite-sized palettes. This is the Berry Bad one. I'm going to use this shade. Yeah, that's not a bad match at all. Now Rainier. Rainier, I think I'm also going to have to do some mixing on. I was trying to work out earlier exactly what I thought I would need to mix. And while I didn't try it out yet, I think that these two will give it to me. Do I have a clean finger? Yes. Stomach is making noises. Goodness. Look at that. I feel like that's actually a really good match for Rainier. Cool. Very cool. Chanterelle, which is a mustardy, but still pretty bright yellow. I don't think I have anything particularly similar to that. I will take a quick look through my stuff to see if I can't find something along the same lines, but I don't think I've got it. Now, it definitely isn't super similar, but I feel like a color that I would use in much the same way would probably be a mixture of this almost peachy brown shade with this orange. So let's give that a swatch and see what it looks like. I mean, that's a very orange color, but it's one that I could see myself using in conjunction with these other shades. There we are. Definitely more orange than a yellow, but I feel like it really fits in with the rest of the color story. And if this story is missing something from the rainbow, I feel like it is an orange. So there we are, and let's see how many shades left. Just one, Puffball. And for that, which is a very yellowy brown, I'm going to go into this transition shade I have from Wet n Wild. And there we have it. I feel like this is actually a pretty decent dupe for the Raw Beauty Kristi palette. Now, am I telling you that if you want to buy this, you shouldn't? No, I don't really care what you do. However, I think that if you are desperate for these colors and something about this palette is really speaking to you, it might make sense to go through your own collection, see what you have, and see if you can't pull anything similar. I mean, I don't know too much about Raw Beauty Kristi, but I'm pretty sure that she's not hurting for money. I don't think you're going to put her out in the streets if you don't buy this palette. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you'll come back probably just in a couple days to see a couple of eye looks using these colors. I want to do at least one, maybe two tutorials using this palette. I think it's very pretty. I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!